So, you think you know Australia?
Wajiri Kamaru. G'day, my name is Gordon James Bennelong and my mob is the Eora Nation who always have, always will call the surrounding land from Sydney Cove up the Parramatta River home. Our journey begins in the heart of Australia where we find the towering sandstone monolith known as Uluru. Located in the Northern Territory is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Standing at 348 metres high, Uluru is one of the world's largest monoliths and has a circumference of 9.4 kilometres. Uluru is located approximately 450 kilometres southwest of Alice Springs. Uluru is deeply significant to the Anangu people, who have lived in the region for over 60,000 years. They believe Uluru was formed by ancestral beings during the creation period known as Chukurpa, or Dreamtime. The Anangu people believe that Uluru's physical features, caves, waterholes, and rock formations were formed by these beings who continue to inhabit the land. In the Dreamtime, the Mala people journeyed from the north, drawn to a distinctive rock that seemed ideal for their Inma, a ceremonial gathering. They raised the ceremonial pole, Ngultawada, marking the beginning of their rituals. As the Mala women gathered and prepared food and the men hunted and readied their tools, two Wintalka men approached from the west, inviting them to their own ceremony. The Mala people declined, explaining that their Inma had already begun and could not be interrupted. Angered by this refusal, the Wintalka men returned to their people and summoned Kirpani, an evil spirit in the form of a monstrous devil dog, to disrupt the Mala's ceremony. Kirpani, a shape-shifting ghost, advanced towards the Mala people. Although Luumpa, the Kingfisher woman, warned them of the danger, they ignored her. Kirpani arrived, attacking and killing some of the men. In terror, the surviving Mala people fled south into what is now South Australia with Kirpani in pursuit. The story continues in the south, where Luumpa still keeps watch, now transformed into a large rock. Kirpani's footprints remain etched into the stone, leading east and south, while the spirits of the fallen men linger in their cave. This story teaches the importance of completing what you start and heeding warnings of danger. Each year, the Anangu people hold ceremonies to honor the Chukurpa, maintaining their deep spiritual connection to Uluru. These ceremonies involve song, dance, and storytelling, preserving the ancient traditions of the Anangu. Just down the road lies the majestic Kata Tjuta, also known as the Olgas, rising from the desert plains. With Mount Olga's peak rising a staggering 546 meters, that's the same height as the One World Trade Center in New York City. Located about 470 kilometers southwest of Alice Springs, these towering domes of red rock are among the most iconic landmarks in the Northern Territory. Comprising of 36 steep-sided rock formations, Kata Tjuta covers an area of over 20 square kilometers, making it a sprawling dominion of immense cultural and spiritual significance. Kata Tjuta is equally, if not more, revered as a sacred site deeply connected to the Anangu. In the Dreamtime, Kata Tjuta is said to be the home of the great snake king Wanambi. Wanambi is believed to reside in the deepest crevices of the rocks, where he remains dormant, only emerging to bring storms and rain to the land. The Anangu tell stories of how Wanambi created the valleys and gorges with his enormous power. They believe that his spirit still guards the area. The powerful presence of Wanambi makes the Anangu approach with deep respect and reverence. Each year, the Anangu people hold the Inma ceremony at Kata Tjuta, a traditional ritual that honors the spirit of Wanambi and the sacredness of the land. The Inma involves intricate song cycles, rhythmic dances, and the sharing of sacred stories that have been passed down through generations. The Inma ceremony at Kata Tjuta is particularly significant for its focus on the spiritual power of the land and the deep connection between the people and this ancient site. Staying in the Northern Territory, we explore the vast Kakadu National Park, another UNESCO World Heritage Site, this one almost 20,000 square kilometers. Kakadu is a land of contrasts with rugged escarpments, lush wetlands, and ancient rock art sites. Known to the local indigenous people as Gagaju, the park is located about 171 kilometers southeast of Darwin. The Bininj and Mungai people, who are the traditional custodians of Kakadu, have lived in this region for over 65,000 years. The park is home to one of the world's richest concentrations of Aboriginal rock art, with some paintings dating back over 20,000 years. The land is deeply connected to the Dreamtime, with each feature of the landscape holding spiritual significance. In the Dreamtime, Gagaju is shaped by the actions of Namargon, the lightning man, and his wife Barginj, who created the land and its people. Namargon is believed to control the storms and lightning that occur during the wet season, and his presence is felt throughout the land. The rock art in Kakadu depicts Namargon and other ancestral beings, capturing the stories of creation and transformation. The Bininj and Mungai people continue to hold ceremonies in Kakadu, where they honor Namargon and other ancestral beings. These ceremonies involve rituals, storytelling, and dance, connecting the people to their ancestors and the land. The annual wet season, known as Gujug, is a time of renewal when the land is revitalized and the connection between the people and the spirits is strengthened. Traveling to Western Australia, we arrive at the stunning Wave Rock. This natural rock formation, resembling a giant ocean wave about to crash, stands 15 meters high and stretches 110 meters long. Wave Rock is located near the small town of Hyden, approximately 340 kilometers east of Perth. It is a spectacular example of what geomorphologists call a flared slope. A flared slope is a concave upward or inward bedrock surface that is typically found around the base and upper slopes of granitic boulders. According to local Noongar man and tour guide Michael Ward, the wall above the top of Wave Rock has caused the rock to change color over time. He has said that in the early days of the wall, the rock was lighter yellow or cream in color, and that the wall has changed to become red and orange with black streaking across its face. Known to the local Balladong people as Nyungar or Katakich, Wave Rock is a site of great cultural and spiritual significance. The Dreamtime story of Wave Rock tells of the Wagyil or rainbow serpent who carved out rivers, lakes, and valleys as it traveled across the land. When the Wagyil reached Hyden, it created Wave Rock with a single powerful motion, shaping the rock to resemble a wave. The rippling effect on the rock's surface is believed to be the scales of the Wagyil imprinted forever in the stone. Katakich is more than just a rock formation. It is part of an ancient dreaming trail that stretches from the southern coast near Augusta to the Great Victoria Desert in the northeast. This trail connects various sacred sites, each telling a different chapter in the story of the rainbow serpent and other ancestral beings. The Balladong people use this trail as a path of cultural learning, where the lessons of the Dreamtime are passed down through generations. Each year, the Noongar people gather at Katakich for ceremonies that honor the Wagyil and other ancestral beings. These ceremonies involve rituals, dances, and songs that connect the people to their ancestors and the land. Moving down towards the southern coast of Western Australia, we arrive at Lake Hillier, a striking pink salt lake located on Middle Island. Part of the Recherche archipelago, this small lake is just 600 meters long and 250 meters wide, but its vibrant color makes it a unique natural wonder. Lake Hillier is located about 130 kilometers from the town of Esperance. The Wurundjeri people, the traditional custodians of this land, know the lake as Kapichukula, meaning water of the spirits. The Wurundjeri believe that the lake's pink color is the result of a sacred spirit who resides in the waters, protecting the land and its people. In the Dreamtime, the Wurundjeri tell of a spirit named Yalkar who lived in the sky but descended to the earth to create the lake. Yalkar blessed the waters with a pink hue, symbolizing love and protection. The lake is considered sacred, and the Wurundjeri people hold ceremonies at Kapichukula to honor Yalkar and ensure the spirit's continued protection. These ceremonies involve singing, dancing, and the sharing of their language and sacred stories, binding and strengthening their connection to their ancestors and the land. The lake remains a symbol of spiritual strength and cultural resilience eternally. We now visit the otherworldly landscape Pinnacles Desert, located in Nambung National Park. This area is known for its thousands of limestone pillars, some reaching up to 3.5 meters high, which rise from the yellow sands like ancient sentinels. The pinnacles are located about 200 kilometers north of Perth. The local Yurd people call this area Wajipin, meaning place of the ancient ones. The pinnacles are believed to be the petrified remains of ancestral beings who once roamed the land, their forms turned to stone as a reminder of their presence and power. In the Dreamtime, the Uid people tell of a time when young men were walking through an area they were not allowed to go. The gods were angered at the disobedient and careless young men. They cast magic over them, turning them to stone. As the young men slowly solidified, they reached their hands and spears to the sky. The pinnacles are their fingers and spear tips, forever frozen in time, with the men entombed under the shifting sands. This story tells us we should respect the wishes of the spirits and ancestors and walk cautiously along the path of life. The Ued people continue to visit Wajipin for ceremonies that honor their ancestors and the spirits who protect the land. These ceremonies involve offerings, songs, and dances that connect the Ued to their past and ensure the ongoing spiritual health of the land. Finally, in the far north of Western Australia, we explore the vast and rugged region known as the Kimberleys. This remote area is known for its dramatic landscapes, including ancient sandstone gorges and waterfalls. The Kimberleys cover over 423,000 square kilometres, making it one of the most remote and unspoiled regions in Australia. It is located over 2,000 kilometres northeast of Perth. The Wunambal Gambera people, who have lived in the Kimberleys for tens of thousands of years, call this land Wongur. They recognise this area as where ancestral beings left their mark on the land. The Dreamtime stories of Wongur tell of the Wangina, powerful ancestral spirits who created the land, the rivers, and the people. The Wangina are depicted in ancient rock art throughout the Kimberleys, their images believed to hold the power to bring rain and fertility to the land. The Wunambal Gambera people continue to revere the Wangina through ceremonies that involve painting, storytelling, and dancing, maintaining their connection to the spiritual world. These ceremonies are performed during the wet season, a time when the Wangina are believed to be most active, ensuring that the land is blessed with abundant rain and life. Moving now east into South Australia, we explore the Flinders Ranges, a spectacular mountain range known for its rugged peaks, deep gorges, and vibrant red cliffs. The Flinders Ranges stretch for over 430 kilometres, making them one of the most iconic landscapes in the state. They are located about 450 kilometres north of Adelaide. The local Adnyamathanha people call this land Ikara, meaning meeting place. The Flinders Ranges are not just a natural wonder, they are a cultural heartland where the Adnyamathanha have lived for tens of thousands of years. The mountains and valleys of Ikara are steeped in spiritual significance, with each feature of the landscape connected to Dreamtime stories. In the Dreamtime, the ancestral beings, including two giant Akura, serpent spirits, traveled through the land, shaping the terrain as they went. These Akura, massive and fearsome, are central to the creation of Ikara and the surrounding landscape. The story begins with a great ceremony. The various clans of the Adnyamathanha gathered in Ikara for an initiation ritual. The people prepared food, lit fires, and danced, all in preparation for this sacred occasion. The Akura, drawn by the sights, sounds, and smells of the feast, approached Ikara with a hunger that could not be satisfied. As the people celebrated, the Akura snaked closer, unnoticed by the gathered clans. The Akura began to devour the celebrants, wreaking havoc and fear among the people. In a desperate attempt to protect their people, the ancestral hunters trapped the serpents within the natural bowl of Ikara. A great battle ensued between the hunters and the serpents. The Akura, though strong and massive, were eventually wounded and forced to coil within the enclosure of Ikara. Their bodies formed the giant ridges of the pound, and as they curled tighter, they left behind the distinct protective walls of Wilpenna Pound, shaping the landscape forever. The scars of the battle and the forms of the serpents are now part of the land, with the curved ridges and towering walls marking the final resting place of the Akura. The land of the Flinders Ranges, shaped by this struggle, remains a place of power and spiritual significance, where the memory of the Akura and the ceremonies of the ancestors are forever intertwined. The Adnyamathanha people hold annual ceremonies at Ikara where they pay homage. These ceremonies involve storytelling, dance, and the sharing of knowledge, ensuring that the cultural heritage of Ikara is preserved for future generations. Our journey now leads us to the remote region of South Australia. We venture to the rugged and remote Gawler Ranges, a volcanic range in the heart of South Australia, approximately 600 kilometres northwest of Adelaide. The unique rhyolite formations, often called organ pipes due to their vertical columns, offer an awe-inspiring sight that tells the story of an ancient and powerful landscape. For the Barngarla people, the Gawler Ranges are a sacred site formed during the Dreamtime by the giant spirit Warara. Warara, a great protector and guardian of the land, roamed the ranges and with each step shaped the jagged peaks and volcanic formations. His presence can still be felt today in the landscape, as the Barngarla people believe that the organ pipes represent his songs, echoing through the land. These rhyolite columns are seen as the physical embodiment of his creation, standing as guardians over the range. Every year, the Barngarla people gather to celebrate Warara through storytelling, song, and dance. These rituals are performed to honor the spirit that watches over the land, ensuring its continued strength and vitality. The Gawler Ranges, with their ancient formations and deep cultural significance, serve as a reminder of the enduring connection between the people and the land they call home. Final stop now takes us to Mount Gambier, located in the southeastern corner of South Australia, about 450 kilometres from Adelaide. This town is known for its spectacular volcanic landscape, and at its heart is Blue Lake, an iconic crater lake that fills the extinct Mount Gambier volcano. The local Boandik people call this area Berin, which is deeply intertwined with their cultural and spiritual beliefs. Berin is a place of great significance to the Boandik people, who believe that the crater lakes and the surrounding landscape were created by the spirit Kraitbul. In the Dreamtime, Kraitbul was a giant spirit who roamed the land, creating the volcanic features we see today. When he settled in Berin, he dug out the crater that would become Blue Lake as a home for his family. Blue Lake is not only known for its stunning color, which changes to a vibrant cobalt blue each summer, but also for the spiritual presence that the Boandik people feel around the lake. The Boandik hold the Berin water ceremony here, an annual event that honors Kraitbul and the waters he created. During this ceremony, offerings of food and water are made to the lake, and traditional dances are performed to ensure the lake's continued vitality. The Berin water ceremony is unique for its focus on the water's spiritual essence, reflecting the deep connection between the Boandik people and their environment. Now we're heading north and far east to Queensland. We encounter the iconic Glasshouse Mountains. These ancient volcanic peaks rise dramatically from the coastal plain, with the highest peak, Mount Beerwah, reaching 556 metres. The Glasshouse Mountains are located about 70 kilometres north of Brisbane. Gabi Gabi people, traditional custodians of this land, refer to the mountains as Dumburu, meaning place of the glass house. These peaks hold deep spiritual significance for the Gabi Gabi, who believe that the mountains were once living beings. Dreamtime's story of Dumburu tells of a family of mountains: the father, Mount Tibragargan; the mother, Mount Beerwah, and their many children, including Mount Coonoran. According to the story, Tibragargan noticed the ocean rising and instructed Coonoran to help his mother and siblings escape to safety. However, Coonoran fled in fear, abandoning his family. As punishment, Tibragargan struck Coonoran, causing his neck to break, which is why Mount Coonoran has a distinctive crooked peak. Gabi Gabi people continue to honor these mountains through ceremonies that connect them to their ancestors. The mountains are seen as protectors and are treated with great respect and reverence. Just a bit further north along the Queensland coast, the Great Barrier Reef, the world's largest coral reef system stretching over 2,300 kilometers. Queenslanders get the best fishing spots, don't they? This natural wonder is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a vital ecosystem for marine life. The reef is located off the coast of Cairns, about 1,400 kilometers north of Brisbane. The indigenous name for the Great Barrier Reef is Wangal, meaning the place of the coral. The Yurganidji people, who have lived in the region for over 60,000 years, believe that the reef was created by ancestral beings who shaped the land and sea. In the Dreamtime, the Yurganidji tell of Garaguru, a powerful ancestral spirit who transformed into the reef to protect the coastline and its people. Vibrant coral is believed to be the spirit of Garaguru, with each piece of coral representing a part of the spirit's body. The reef is seen as a living entity, connected to the spiritual world. Yurganidji people hold annual ceremonies to honor Garaguru and the reef, where they offer gifts to the sea and perform dances that celebrate the life-giving power of the ocean. These traditions are vital to the preservation of their cultural heritage, language, stories, and the protection of the reef. Next, we sail to the Whitsunday Islands, a stunningly gorgeous archipelago of 74 islands off the coast of Queensland. Known for their pristine white sand beaches and crystal clear waters, the Whitsundays are located about 900 kilometers north of Brisbane. The islands are known to the local indigenous people as Ngaro Nganji, meaning the land of the Ngaro people. The Ngaro people have lived in this region for over 90,000 years, and the islands hold deep cultural and spiritual significance. The Ngaro people believe that the islands were formed by the actions of ancestral beings during the Dreamtime, and each island is seen as a living entity with its own spirit. In the Dreamtime, the Ngaro tell of a great serpent spirit named Julungul, who traveled through the sea, creating the islands with her movements. The serpent's body formed the reefs and islands, while her spirit infused the land and sea with life. Ngaro believe that the islands are sacred and that the spirits of their ancestors continue to inhabit the land, protecting it and guiding the people. The Ngaro people hold annual ceremonies on the islands where they pay homage to Julungul and other ancestral beings. These ceremonies involve song, dance, and the telling of sacred stories, connecting the Ngaro people to their ancestors and the land. Our final stop is the oldest rainforest in the world, breathtaking ancient Daintree rainforest, estimated to be around 180 million years old, 10 million years older than the Amazon. Located in far north Queensland, the Daintree covers over 1,200 square kilometers and is part of the Wet Tropics World Heritage Area. The rainforest is known to the local indigenous people as Kaba Kaba, meaning the land of the cassowary. The Kuku Yalanji people, who have lived in the Daintree region for over 50,000 years, believe that the rainforest is a living entity created by ancestral beings during the Dreamtime. The rainforest is home to a rich diversity of flora and fauna, many of which are found nowhere else on Earth. In the Dreamtime, the Kuku Yalanji tell of the Jabugai spirit, a powerful ancestral being who created the rainforest and its inhabitants. The Jabugai spirit is believed to reside in the tallest trees, watching over the land and ensuring the balance of nature. Kuku Yalanji also believe that the cassowary, a large flightless bird, is a guardian of the rainforest, representing the spirit of the land. Each year, the Kuku Yalanji people hold ceremonies in Kaba Kaba where they honor the Jabugai spirit and the cassowary. These ceremonies involve the telling of sacred stories, dance, and the sharing of knowledge about the land and its significance. The rainforest is seen as a place of healing and renewal, where the connection between the people and the natural world is celebrated. Our next destination is the majestic Grampians in Victoria, a rugged mountain range renowned for its dramatic cliffs, waterfalls, and rich biodiversity. Known to the local indigenous people as Gariverd, the Grampians stretch over 1,672 square kilometers and are located about 260 kilometers west of Melbourne. Gariverd holds profound spiritual significance for the Dja Wurrung and Yadwa Jali peoples. This area is not only a natural wonder, but also a cultural landscape marked by ancient rock art sites, some dating back over 20,000 years. The Grampians' unique rock formations and towering cliffs are believed to be the physical manifestations of ancestral beings. The Dreamtime stories of Gariverd tell of the great creator spirit Bunjil, the wedge-tailed eagle who formed the mountains and rivers. Bunjil is said to have created the landscape as a home for his people and the animals that inhabit the land. One of the most significant stories is that of Chingal, a giant emu who roamed the land and caused great destruction. Bunjil, seeing the chaos, transformed Chingal into the mountains we see today, ensuring that peace was restored to the land. The Dja Wurrung and Yadwa Jali peoples continue to hold ceremonies at Gariverd, honoring Bunjil and other ancestral beings. These ceremonies involve storytelling, dance, and the sharing of knowledge, ensuring that the cultural heritage of the region is preserved for future generations. Our next stop is Mount Buller, a prominent peak in the Victoria Victorian Alps, located about 230 kilometres northeast of Melbourne. This mountain, rising to 1,805 metres, is not only a popular ski destination but also a place of deep cultural significance for the Taungurung people. Taungurung people refer to this mountain as Wulawurrung, a place that holds the stories of their ancestors. In the Dreamtime, Wulawurrung was the home of Bunjil, the eagle, a powerful sky spirit who shaped the land and protected the people. The mountain's harsh winter climate is seen as a reminder of Bunjil's strength and the need for resilience. During the winter months, the Taungurung people would gather at the base of Mount Buller for the Bunjil Winter Rite, a ceremony that honours the eagle spirit. This ritual involves dances that mimic the flight of the eagle, songs that tell of his power, and offerings of feathers and food to ensure the continued protection of the land and its people. The Bunjil Winter Rite is a time of reflection and renewal where the people reconnect with their ancestors and draw strength from the mountain's enduring presence. The cold winds and snow that blanket the mountain during this time are seen as Bunjil's breath, a reminder of his watchful eye over the land. Staying the Victorian Alps, we come to Mount Bogong, approximately 360 kilometres northeast of Melbourne. The Taungurung and Gunai people refer to this sacred peak as Burulong, which translates to high mountain. Burulong is not only a natural landmark but also a site of great spiritual importance. Standing at a towering 1,986 metres above sea level, Mount Bogong is the highest peak in Victoria and a prominent feature of the Alpine National Park. This majestic mountain holds deep cultural and spiritual significance for the Taungurung and Gunai people. Burulong is not only a natural landmark but also a site of great spiritual importance. The mountain is considered a place where the ancestors' spirits reside, and it has been used for ceremonial purposes and spiritual reflection for thousands of years. In the Dreamtime, Burulong was shaped by Bunjil, the great eagle spirit of the Taungurung and Gunai peoples. According to the Dreamtime stories, Bunjil used his powerful wings to sculpt the mountains and valleys, creating Burulong as a place of both physical and spiritual elevation. The peak is believed to be a source of strength and guidance, embodying the presence and power of Bunjil. Each year, the Taungurung and Gunai people conduct the Burulong ceremony at the summit of Mount Bogong. This ceremony is a time for communal gathering, where traditional dances and songs celebrate the creation of the mountain and the ongoing relationship between the people and the spirit world. The ceremony includes offerings of native herbs and ceremonial items to honor Bunjil and ensure the continued protection of the land. Burulong ceremony is distinctive for its focus on connecting with the ancestral spirits and reaffirming the bond between the land and its people. Now we descend to Mackenzie Falls, one of the largest and most majestic waterfalls in Victoria, located in Grampians National Park. A powerful cascade plunges over 30 metres into a deep pool, creating a breathtaking spectacle that can be heard from kilometres away. The Jabwurrung and Yardwajali peoples, the traditional custodians of this land, regard Mackenzie Falls as a sacred place. They believe that the falls were created by Chingol, a giant emu in the Dreamtime who was pursued by the ancestral hunter Bunjil. In his flight, Chingol gouged out the land, and where his beak struck the earth, water began to flow, creating the falls. Mackenzie Falls is a place of healing, where the Jabwurrung and Yardwajali people come to perform the Ngamajij healing ritual. This ceremony involves bathing in the mist of the falls, which is believed to carry the spirit of Chingol and bring physical and spiritual healing to those who seek it. The ritual includes prayers, songs, and the offering of native plants to the water, asking for the ancestors' guidance and blessings. The Ngamajij healing ritual is particularly unique in its focus on water as a healing force. The fall's mist is seen as a bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds, providing a connection to the ancestors and the powerful forces that shape the land. Our final stop in Victoria is one of the most iconic in the country, located along the Great Ocean Road, about 275 kilometres southwest of Melbourne. These towering limestone stacks, standing up to 50 metres high, are remnants of the ancient cliffs that have been eroded by the relentless waves of the Southern Ocean. Once 12, now only 8 remain. These natural formations, though now reduced in number, remain a symbol of Australia's rugged coastline. The local Gunditjmara people call this site Thornwing, a place that holds great spiritual meaning. Thornwing is deeply embedded in the cultural landscape of the Gunditjmara people. According to their Dreamtime stories, these rock formations were once giant warriors who were turned to stone by Bunjil, the creator spirit, as a punishment for their pride. Bunjil transformed them into these towering stacks so they would stand forever, a reminder of the power of humility and respect. The local Gunditjmara people refer to this area as Muttonbird Island or Thornwing, a name that reflects the area's connection to the short-tailed shearwater or muttonbird which nests there. The limestone stacks were formed over millions of years by the relentless forces of wind and waves, but their significance goes beyond geology. In the Dreamtime, the Gunditjmara tell of Bunjil, great creator spirit who crafted the land and sea. It is said that Bunjil, in his wisdom, placed the towering limestone pillars as guardians of the coast, protecting the land from the encroaching ocean. Each stack was a sentinel, watching over the land and the people, ensuring their safety. The Gunditjmara believed that the spirits of their ancestors inhabit these stacks, imbuing them with strength and resilience. Each year, the Gunditjmara people perform the Thornwing Vigil along the cliffs overlooking the 12 apostles. This ceremony is conducted at sunset, a time when the shadows of the apostles stretch across the ocean, symbolizing the connection between the land, the sea, and the sky. Vigil includes songs and chants that tell the story of the giant warriors and their transformation, as well as prayers for safe passage along the coast. Thornwing Vigil is distinct in its focus on reflection and reverence for the power of nature and the lessons of the Dreamtime. Across Bass Strait, we journey to the wild heart of Tasmania, known to its people, the Palawa, as Lutruwita. We first visit the Franklin Gordon Wild Rivers National Park, a vast and untamed wilderness that is part of the Tasmanian Wilderness World Heritage Area. It lies approximately 117 kilometres west of Hobart. The park covers an area of about 4,465 square kilometres. It is home to some of the most pristine rivers and ancient rainforests in Australia. The Palawa people, the traditional custodians of this land, hold the Franklin and Gordon rivers as sacred. These rivers are believed to have been created by Moyandi, an ancestral spirit who shaped the land and brought life to the forests. The rivers are seen as veins of the earth carrying the lifeblood of the land. Each year, the Palawa people conduct the Moyandi River Ceremony, a ritual that honors the spirit of the rivers and the ancient forests they sustain. This ceremony involves offerings of food and native plants to the water, as well as prayers and songs that tell the story of Moyandi and his creation of the rivers. The Moyandi River Ceremony is unique in its deep connection to the natural environment, particularly the rivers and forests. The ceremony emphasizes the interdependence of all living things and the responsibility of the people to protect and nurture the land. Our next destination is the ancient, secluded and untouched beauty that is Tarkine Forest, a vast expanse of temperate rainforest that covers over 4,000 square kilometres. Known to the local indigenous people as Takaina, Tarkine is one of the most pristine and ecologically diverse regions in Australia. It is located in the northwest of Tasmania, about 350 kilometres from Hobart. The Palawa people, the traditional custodians of Takaina, have lived in this region for over 40,000 years. The Tarkine is a sacred place where the rainforest, rivers and coastlines are all interconnected in the Dreamtime stories of the Palawa. The forest is home to ancient trees, some over 1,000 years old, and a rich diversity of wildlife. In the Dreamtime, the Palawa tell of the Trawena, the spirits of the land who created the rainforest and its inhabitants. The Trawena are believed to reside in the tallest trees, watching over the land and ensuring the balance of nature. The Tarkine is seen as a living entity where the spirits of the ancestors continue to dwell, protecting the land and its people. The Palawa people hold annual ceremonies in Takaina where they honor the Trawena and the spirits of the land. These ceremonies involve the telling of sacred stories, dance, and the sharing of knowledge about the forest and its significance. The Tarkine is a place of healing and renewal, where the connection between the people and the natural world is celebrated. Our final stop is the iconic Cradle Mountain, one of Tasmania's most famous landmarks. This rugged mountain, with its distinctive jagged peaks, rises to 1,545 metres and is part of the Cradle Mountain Lake St. Clair National Park. Located about 144 kilometres from Launceston, Cradle Mountain is a place of great natural beauty and spiritual significance. The local Palawa people refer to this mountain as Nivet, a name that reflects the mountain's connection to the spirit world. The Palawa believe that Nivet was formed by the actions of Moyne, a powerful spirit who shaped the land during the Dreamtime. The mountain's peaks were said to be the resting place of Moyne, who created the surrounding landscape with his mighty hand. In the Dreamtime, Moyne was said to have fought a great battle with Dromedana, the spirit of the clouds. Their battle shook the earth, and as Moyne struck the ground with his club, the peaks of Nivet were formed. The Palawa believed that the spirits of Moyne and Dromedane still reside in the mountains, controlling the weather and the seasons. The Palawa people continue to hold ceremonies at Nivet where they honor Moyne and the other ancestral spirits. These ceremonies involve rituals, storytelling, and dance, connecting the people to their ancestors and the land. The mountain is seen as a place of power and mystery, where the natural world and the spirit world intersect. The journey now takes us to the rugged landscapes of Namadgi National Park, located just 40 kilometres southwest of Canberra in the ACT. This vast wilderness is home to Booroomba Rocks, a series of towering granite cliffs rising up to 1,400 metres above sea level. These rocks offer panoramic views of the surrounding mountains and valleys, a sight that has been admired for thousands of years. The Ngunnawal people, the traditional custodians of this region, call these cliffs Booroomba, meaning high rock or high place. Booroomba rocks are considered a sacred site, believed to be a place where the spirits of the ancestors reside. The Ngunnawal people have long used this site as a lookout and a meeting place where important decisions were made and ceremonies were conducted. Booroomba rocks are not just a physical feature, but a spiritual one as well. According to Ngunnawal Dreamtime stories, the cliffs were formed by the great spirit Bunjil as he traveled through the land, shaping the mountains and creating the landscapes we see today. The cliffs are seen as a resting place for Bunjil, a place where his spirit continues to watch over the land and its people. Each year, the Ngunnawal people hold the Yarabi ceremonial gathering at Booroomba Rocks. This ceremony is a time for the community to come together, to honor the spirits of the land, and to seek guidance from Bunjil. The ceremony involves traditional dances, songs, and the burning of eucalyptus leaves to cleanse the land and the people. The Yarabi ceremonial gathering is a powerful reminder of the deep connection between the Ngunnawal people and their land, a connection that has been maintained for thousands of years. Our next stop is Tidbinbilla Nature Reserve, located about 40 kilometres southwest of Canberra. Within this reserve reserve stands Gibraltar Peak, a granite outcrop that rises to 1,038 meters above sea level. This peak offers stunning views of the surrounding valleys and mountains and is a site of cultural and spiritual significance for the Ngunnawal people. Ngunnawal people know Gibraltar Peak as Darajang, meaning place of the granite. Darajang is considered a sacred place, a site where the spirits of the ancestors are believed to dwell. Peak has been used for thousands of years as a place of reflection and spiritual connection where the Ngunnawal people would come to communicate with the spirits and to seek guidance. According to Ngunnawal Dreamtime stories, Darajang was formed by Murrumbidgee, the giant water serpent who created the rivers and streams of the region. As Murrumbidgee moved through the land, he left behind the rocky outcrops, including Gibraltar Peak, as reminders of his presence and power. Ngunnawal people believe that the peak is a place where the spirit of Murrumbidgee continues to reside, watching over the land and its people. Each year, the Ngunnawal people hold the Darajang renewal ceremony at Gibraltar Peak. This ceremony is a time for the community to come together to renew their connection with the land and the spirits. The ceremony involves traditional dances that mimic the movements of the water serpent, songs that tell the story of Murrumbidgee, and offerings of food and water to the spirits. The Darajang renewal ceremony is unique in its focus on renewal and the ongoing relationship between the Ngunnawal people and their land. Now to New South Wales, my personal favourite. Our exploration now leads us to Wollemi National Park, located approximately 120 kilometres northwest of Sydney. Within this ancient park lies the Wollemi pine rainforest, home to the rare and prehistoric Wollemi pine, a species that dates back to the time of the dinosaurs. This unique rainforest is both a natural wonder and a site of significant cultural importance for the Darug and Gundungurra peoples. The Darug and Gundungurra people refer to this ancient forest as Wollemi, meaning ridges of the water in their languages. The Wollemi pine rainforest is revered for its untouched beauty and its connection to the Dreamtime stories of the ancestors. This rainforest has been a sacred place for thousands of years where the spirits of the land are believed to dwell. In Dreamtime stories, the Wollemi rainforest is associated with the legend of Bunjil, the great eagle spirit, created the lush and vibrant landscape by spreading seeds across the land. The Darug and Gundungurra peoples see the Wollemi pine as a symbol of resilience and continuity, reflecting the endurance of their culture and connection to the land. Every year, the Darug and Gundungurra people celebrate the Wollemi ceremony, a ritual held in the heart of the rainforest to honor the spirits of the ancestors and the natural world. The ceremony involves traditional dances and songs that recount the creation stories of Bunjil and the origins of the Wollemi pine. To the depths of the earth, we find ourselves subterranean and submerged at Jenolan Cave. This complex network of limestone caves is among the oldest in the world, estimated to be around 340 million years old. The caves are located about 175 kilometers west of Sydney, nestled in the Blue Mountains. The Gundungurra people, the traditional custodians of this land, know the caves as Binumea, meaning dark places. The Gundungurra believe that the caves were formed by the actions of a giant ancestral eel, whose movements carved out the caverns and underground rivers. In the Dreamtime, the eel, known as Gura Gura, was chased by a great hunter across the land. As the eel fled, it burrowed deep into the earth, creating the vast network of caves we see today. The water within the caves is said to be the lifeblood of Gura Gura, sustaining the land and its people. The Gundungurra people hold annual ceremonies at Binumea, where they honor Gura Gura and other ancestral beings. These ceremonies involve storytelling, dance, and the sharing of knowledge about the land and its spiritual significance. Now we ascend to the highest peak in Australia, Mount Kosciuszko, standing at 2,228 meters above sea level. Known to the local Indigenous people as Kunama Namadji, this sacred mountain is part of the Australian Alps and is located about 500 kilometers southwest of Sydney. The Ngarigo people, who have lived in the region for thousands of years, regard Kunama Namadji as a place of great spiritual significance. The mountain is considered a meeting place where various tribes would gather for ceremonies, trade, and social interactions. In the Dreamtime, Kunama Namadji was created by the Mullion, the eagle hawk, who flew over the land, shaping the mountains and valleys below. The Ngarigo believe that the mountain is a resting place for spirits and that the rivers flowing from its slopes carry the life force of the land. The name Kunama Namadji itself reflects the mountain's importance, with Kunama meaning snow and Namadji referring to the spirit world. Each year, the Ngarigo people hold ceremonies on the mountain where they honor the spirits in the land. These ceremonies are a time for renewal, where the connection between the people, the mountain, and the spirit world is strengthened. Our next destination takes us to the tallest waterfall in Australia, Wollomombi Falls, located in the New England tableland within Oxley Wild Rivers National Park. The Anaiwan people, the traditional custodians of this region, hold Wollomombi Falls in great reverence. According to their Dreamtime stories, the falls were created by Wurawa, a powerful water spirit who carved the gorges and valleys of the land. Wurawa is believed to reside within the falls, and the mist that rises from the crashing water is considered his breath. The Anaiwan people perform the Wurawa waterfall ceremony at Wollomombi Falls to honor the water spirit and to ask for his protection and the continued flow of water to sustain the land. The ceremony involves the use of water from the falls, which is sprinkled over the participants as a blessing. Sacred songs and dances are performed, mimicking the flow of water and the life it brings. The Wurawa waterfall ceremony is a powerful reminder of the importance of water in sustaining life. The rituals focus on the falls as a living entity, imbued with the spirit of Wurawa, highlights the deep connection between the Anaiwan people and the natural world. Now, to conclude our journey across Australia, we arrive at the Blue Mountains, a rugged region located just 100 kilometres west of Sydney. Within this stunning landscape lies the iconic rock formation known as the Three Sisters. These three towering sandstone peaks stand side by side, rising over 900 metres above sea level. The Gundungurra and Darug peoples, the traditional custodians of this land, hold the Three Sisters as sacred. According to one Dreamtime story, the Three Sisters were once young women who were turned to stone by a powerful elder to protect them from a tribal battle. Unfortunately, the elder was killed in the conflict before he could reverse the spell, leaving the sisters as stone formations, forever watching over the valley below. In another version of the story, the sisters were transformed into stone to protect them from the unwanted advances of a neighboring tribe. The mountain elder who performed the transformation was unable to undo the spell, and so the Three Sisters remain as guardians of the valley, a symbol of eternal protection and strength. Each year, the Gundungurra and Darug peoples conduct the Bayame's blessing ceremony at the Three Sisters. During this ceremony, they invoke the spirit of Bayame, the creator god, asking for his protection and the strength to safeguard their land and people. The ceremony involves the use of sacred ochre, chants and dances that tell the story. Our journey across Australia has taken us to some of the most iconic and spiritually significant landscapes in the country. By understanding and respecting these sacred sites, we can deepen our connection to the land and its people, preserving the rich cultural tapestry that makes Australia unique. See you later, or as my mob says it, Yanu.